Hey, it's Mr. Malte. I'm making this video just to help you understand and maybe simplify computer science and computational thinking. So as you can see on the site, I have this beautiful spreadsheet that took me a long time to make that has it all broken down into a nice list. And we have computer science, which includes creativity, design, computational thinking, and then these other outcomes. And you might be reading this and it sounds a lot like the teacher in Charlie Brown. That's an old reference for anyone who started teaching recently. That's a cartoon from back anyway. So it's a lot of jargon, and it doesn't have to be. So if we're looking at computer science, that's the overarching field of study, like biology is a field of study. And within that, there's different aspects like coding and algorithms and how computers and software and hardware interact. So that's the broad study, as opposed to computational thinking, which is a way of approaching problem solving. And it's great because it's simplifying things and then applying those generalities into other things. And a good example would, a math word problem would be probably one of the main places where you'd see some kind of computational thinking. Although you don't call it that, you might call it problem solving or something else. So you already do this in your classes, so don't be scared of computational thinking as a concept. You do it. As teachers, we do it all the time because we take complex things like curriculum and we decompose them into patterns and abstraction, and then we look at how we can apply them to other areas. So we do it all the time as teachers. We're actually very good at computational thinking. So we're mechanics who have to look at something and break it down to where the problem is happening. So we do it all the time. And then when nerdy people talk about design, we talk and creativity, we talk about design thinking a lot. And that's really just trying an idea and seeing how it fails and then doing that again. And really teachers, again, do this all the time. Have you ever taught a lesson once and it was terrible? Teach the exact same thing to a different group and maybe you somewhat change it, but maybe not at all, and it goes totally differently. Or you try it out and you think, oh, this part needs to change. Like we do this all the time. So design thinking and iteration and ideation, something teachers do all the time. So you're already very good at all these concepts. Good job, you. And if you want to think of this as an analogy, I really like this. So computer science, if you compare it to a kitchen, that's the entire field of culinary arts. It's everything. It's knowing all the stuff, the ingredients and how they interact and all that jazz. As opposed to computational thinking, that's a way to think about the principles of cooking. And you know the importance of sequences and recipes, and you know what kind of pans to use, and you know all that sort of stuff about generalities you can apply to different things. So computational thinking is being able to follow steps, just knowing about cooking. Whereas design thinking might be something like seeing a recipe on Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest and being able to refine your own version of a recipe, or taking something that your parents taught you how to cook and making it better, or something brand new, actually taking a whole bunch of ingredients going, I think I could make blank with that. As opposed to coding, which is kind of analogous to just being able to follow a recipe, being able to create a recipe for someone else to follow. So it's the instructions. That was a lot. You might want to pause. You may want to watch it again at half speed. But I like this analogy because it, to me, clarifies. I like analogies. And analogies are a good way of thinking about things. There's a couple of videos on here if you want to look at these examples. There's this one. You see the toothbrush one, brushing your teeth one a lot. Here's the peanut butter sandwich. This is another very common idea with instructions and computational thinking and all that sort of stuff. And Google's got a bunch of stuff with that too. And there's lots of articles. These are wicked smart. I really like these because this will tell you how you're already doing computational thinking. So when you come to it or you have to teach it, there's stuff you could practice all the time. Like if you're wondering, what lessons could I do that show decomposition? Here are, 22 on each one of these slides. Like decomposition, breaking things down into parts, seeing how you can find patterns, getting rid of extra stuff like in a math word problem, or if you're talking about, we see, you do a plot diagram all the time in language arts. That's a good example of an abstraction. and looking for patterns too. And then there's algorithmic design. That's just instructions. We do that all the time as well, but there's another bunch of examples of how you could take those things and say, do an overt lesson on any of these concepts, right? So I don't want to talk endlessly, but these are just really good. Take a look at these posters. So good. There we go. So that, in a nutshell, is computational thinking and computer science. The overall computational computer science field and the things that are within it, like computational thinking, design thinking, and coding. In a nutshell. There you go. So, hope that helped a little bit with solidifying some of those ideas. Peace.